Okay, how to lose weight and to keep it off. This is a big topic, but majorly I'm going to chat about setting up weight loss diets, tracking the weight loss diet, making changes, tracking your progress when you're having a plateau, how to plan for the long term mindset, and more. So, first off, weight loss is a very complex topic. Not one that can be solved in a one-off talk, not one that can be solved in just sitting down for one evening. It really is about committing to you, about committing to your health and committing to what you want to achieve. Throughout this chat, I'll talk about quite a lot of areas, but if there's anything you want to discuss more, learn more about, please do contact me. And as I'm sure there's many other people that are thinking the same, and I may have some resources that I can share with you, or maybe we just have a chat. So I'm really grateful you're here. So thank you for being here. But just remember that weight loss is complicated. It is different for everybody. And one thing might work for somebody and one thing might not work for the other. But I am here to try and support you on that journey. So you're on a journey. I meet many women really tying themselves up in knots trying to lose weight. Many times they're saying, I've tried everything and nothing has worked. It's getting me down. Many times it might be due to other factors, it might be hormones, menopause, it might be just not quite understanding the energy in, energy out model. Weight loss does have the same principles for everyone, but it's how it is put into practice that differs for everyone, and what works for one person might not work the next. I personally am not a magician, but I can be your mountain guide. So mountain guides are there to support, guide, educate, and hopefully make the journey towards the summit a little bit easier. However, what mountain goats cannot do is do the climbing for you. We can help to carry your bags, but the climbing is the responsibility of the climbers, yours and yours alone. So I can educate, I can provide advice on the best route, I can look out for you, but at the end of the day, it's you that has to take ownership of your actions and ultimately decide if you want to move towards the summit or drop back. But this is a partnership. I know nutrition, you know yourself, and together we can really form a great partnership to do this. So after this, if anything you want to talk about more, please do get in touch. Right, before we start, take yourself seriously. You're here because you're interested about weight loss. Remember, you don't want to break promises to yourselves. So often we break more promises to ourselves than to anyone else. So do what you said you're going to do. If you're constantly breaking promises to yourself, how can you trust yourself? This is where so much anxiety and fear comes on. So if you're going to decide on doing things through this chat, then do it, commit to it, or set yourself a priority ladder, what you're going to do first. So think about making less promises to yourself, but make them important and take those promises seriously. So throughout this, feel free to take notes, and afterwards you can go through with a highlighter or circle things and decide what you are really going to focus on. Okay, the fundamentals of weight loss is calories in and calories out. It is a dynamic relationship. So your energy in is every calorie that is being ingested, whether it is food, drink, wine, broccoli, Cocoa Pops. It's everything that is going into your body. Your energy out is a little bit more involved. So for your energy out, there are 4 components of your total daily energy expenditure. You might have heard TDEE before. You have your basal metabolic rate, which is the energy required to keep you alive, your lungs breathing, your heart beating. You have your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is your NEAT activity, which is your hoovering, your fidgeting, your walking around. And you have your thermic effect of feeding, your TEF, which is the energy of digesting your food, and you have your exercise. So there's quite a lot with that energy out, and it is going to change from day today. Next slide. So if you can see the slide in front of you, the 4 segments of the energy out, the sum total of all the reactions that occur in the body when at complete rest is your metabolism. So you've got your formal exercise, which is actually a very small part of your energy out. Your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is your 60% of your energy out. Your NEAT it can change from day to day, but that is much more. That's, you know, more about your 30%. Your thermal expenditure of your feeding is 10%, and your exercise is actually much less. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the exercise. But for your weight loss, what you can be in charge on is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Your daily walking has a massive impact on your energy out on a daily measure. So every day you want to be trying to get those steps in. They say that 10,000 steps is the number for metabolic adaptation. But at the moment, if you're only doing 2,000 steps a day, then it's a time to start to think, right, I need to do 3,000 steps. So I cannot stress any more the importance of getting your steps in. If you have a watch, it's an activity tracker, you can track your steps that way, or you might be able to put your phone in your pocket and track your steps that way, but know your steps, or whether or not it's time to know that you're walking for a good power walk 30 minutes a day, but your steps are really, really going to make the difference. So for the energy in, energy out, we want to make a caloric deficit. So we want to have less, the difference between the energy out wants to be more than your energy in. So you can do this by having your increased activity through your steps and your planned exercise, and you can reduce what you eat and drink. And that is a dynamic relationship. So it will be some days that you are not have time to move as much, so then you have less calories in. It might be some days you are moving more, so you can have slightly more calories in. But you have to play around with that balance to make it work for you. So exercise itself, having formal exercise, it has a massive amount of benefits for you, from bone density to reduced risk of chronic disease, improved memory. But actually on its own, it's a poor return as a sole intervention for weight loss. A lot of people think, I need to lose weight, so I'm going to start exercising 3 times a week. Actually, there is more to it with the weight loss. You need to be thinking about your calories in, your energy in is really, really super important. And you need to be getting your steps in. Your exercise, yes, is part of it all, but it is not the sole intervention. So I'm not saying new exercise is useless for weight loss, far from it, but exercise is just a part of the jigsaw for doing this. So for the biggest returns when it comes to fat loss, it is always about reduction in the calorie intake. So the calories in is going to be king of this, and your NEAT exercise, that daily exercise. So when you're thinking about your weight loss or your fat loss, because we don't want to lose muscle, we want to lose fat, you can think about which way you want to go. It can either be slow and steady or fast and furious. There's no right or wrong, but it's finding which works best for you. So if you want to have a quick return, you can go for a lower calorie deficit. You'll have greater food focus, you have more emphasis on those daily steps, and you have in that dynamic relationship between your energy in and energy out, you have a greater difference. But this can be triggering for anyone who has disorders with eating, disordered eating. It's not great for yo-yo dieters because people restrict massively and then quite often they then binge. So you've got to think to yourself, do I work better on a quick win or a slow and steady? You're slow and steady, you have less calorie deficit. So you're losing about 0.5 to 1% fat loss a week when you're going slow and steady. It's a longer dieting phase, it's less restrictive, it gives you time to build and focus on habits. It supports lifestyle adaptation. You become more robust to coping with hurdles. But quite often people put the two together. They'll do a quick win, the fast fat loss, which losing 1.5%. So they might have maybe a 2-3 week splurge and thinking, right, I'm really going to nail this. And then they go slow and steady. So have a think to yourself what actually works for you. Right, planning is my big word in weight loss. Always plan. So when your calorie budget is reduced, which is what you're doing if you're on fat loss, you want to maximize every single calorie you consume. Because by maximizing, I'm meaning ensure what you do eat places you to manage hunger and temptations. Because if you are hungry and you're having, so your calories, for example, say you're eating processed food that's quite high in calories, but you're still meeting your given calories, you're probably going to be hungry. So for your calories, you want the majority of your food to be focused on low calorie density foods, high volume. So for example, the veggies, the proteins, and the unprocessed food, low calorie foods, the soup that is going to fill you up. With your soup, if it's not filling, pop in some lentils, still low calorie, but it's going to fill you up. Every meal that you have, you want to feel at least 80% satisfied. So when you're planning your weight loss diet, number one, making sure the majority of your food is low calorie density foods, low calorie foods that fill you up. Secondly, focus on your protein. So you want to aim for as much protein. 20% of your daily calories should be protein, at least 20%, if not more. If you are not currently eating much protein, don't feel overwhelmed, and you need to increase it gradually. Don't do a sudden splurge of loads of protein, because you can be constipated, it can affect your stomach. So slow and steady to increase that protein. Thirdly, exercise. There is evidence that helps you to feel more satisfied with your food when you're exercising. So increasing exercise can help you to regulate your hunger and appropriately match your energy intake to your expenditure. So exercise, though I'm saying it's not great as a sole intervention for weight loss, it is part of the jigsaw. Fourthly, try and minimize the processed foods. So ultra processed foods can lead to overconsumption of calories, and also it's quickly eaten as well, because it's usually very yummy. So try to have unprocessed foods as much as you can. And then fifth, think of mindful eating. Try and tune into what you're eating. Try and stop when you're 80% full. Try and sit at the table. Try not to eat on the go. Try not to eat in front of the television. Try and think about your meals. Your 3 meals is a time for you to sit down and to focus on your food. So you're really thinking about what you're eating. So that is planning. 5 ways, you're trying to plan what is going to come in to that weight loss diet. Coming to planning, I would always highly recommend to plan a food plan a week in advance. Planning your meals, planning your snacks, planning your drinks. Plan as much as you can. Batch cook meals as much as you can. It is great if you can have some meals in the fridge ready or in the freezer ready. Batch cook soup, that is great to have. Make sure you have got snacks ready that are low calorie for your snacks. Quite often people go for the protein bars, which are actually quite high in calories, whereas some fat-free Greek yogurt, which has got a good intake of protein, maybe put some protein powder in it, that is going to fill you up perhaps even more. So it's thinking about your choice of your snacks as well. When you're planning your food, you could also put it into MyFitnessPal, and then you can see where you are for the week and that you're meeting your calorie targets. And if you want to look at your macronutrient targets, you want to go no more than 50% of your carbohydrates. Carbs are good, but we need to keep them in check within the diet. the protein at least 20%, if not more. And your fats will probably fluctuate from day to day, trying to not go above 30%, but some days it will be higher. So for example, if you had eggs for breakfast, you had smoked salmon at lunchtime, and you had a steak for dinner, your fat is going to be sky high. So then the next day you would try to keep the fats lower, or in future you would think, okay, if I'm going to have steak in the evening, I'm going to make sure I have got breakfast and lunch that is low in fat. So it's about playing with the jigsaw of the food to make it work for you. Okay, we plan the food, we eat the food, weight loss will hopefully start to happen when you're getting that right energy balance. You've got your daily walking, you've got your exercise, and then your weight loss stops. So you say you have been losing weight for say 3 to 4 weeks, and you're in a weight loss plateau. That is when the mind games come in. However, this could be a natural plateau where your reduced energy expenditure that accompanies weight loss means over time weight loss gradually slows. It might be you are underreporting in MyFitnessPal what you're actually eating. So underreporting is really, really common. Maybe in MyFitnessPal, you've just got used to putting in, maybe you're not checking the portion sizes because it can make a really big difference. Maybe you're adding condiments that you didn't realize made a big difference. It might be you are moving less than you were. So quite often there are reasons for the weight loss stalls. But when it does happen, give it time. Keep with the program. Keep going for 3 weeks. Keep going for 3 weeks. Give it a month to see if you're really stuck, or maybe water retention or hormones might be masking the weight loss on the scales. It might be your body composition is still changing, which doesn't show in the weight loss, but you will be seeing it in your body. If you're increasing your protein in your diet, you are going to get leaner, but it does take time. It does take for you to be consistent. Yes, I know it's hard. We want it all to be done in one day, but it doesn't happen like that. But you need to stick with it. There's so much you can achieve in a month, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, in a year. So the other thing you could do as well is with your intake, you could take photos of what you're eating and then look back on your MyFitnessPal and compare it. I can help with this as well. So it is a bit of investigation when weight loss stalls, but my advice is to stick with it and keep going, because if you are exercising, you're moving more, you're eating well, your body will reward you. It is just going to take some patience, and I know it is really hard. And when that weight loss stalls, the other thing is to think about home cooked meals. Maybe someone else is cooking. So maybe they're putting extra things in that you don't know. Also look at other metrics. Don't just look at scale weight. Go and look at your body measurements, how you are sleeping, how your hunger is, your cravings, your stress, how your daily walks are going, hormones. There's so many other non-exercise parameters to check against, and to keep checking them consistently as well. When you are looking at your weight loss and taking your weight, it is always advised to take the weight at least 3 times over a week. 3 times over a week, and then record the average every week. If you are training with me and you're using Trainerize app, then make sure you put it in each week into your body weight so you can track it. Okay, so say you've been on your weight loss and you're quite happy, and the weight loss has stalled a bit and you feel you want to lower your calories. Well, if you have not had weight loss for 3 to 4 weeks and you have been absolutely consistent with your diet, your activity levels, and your exercise, really consistent, maybe lower your calories. But quite often when people do lower their calories, they then restrict and then they overeat. So if you do want to lower your calories, talk to someone about it first. So come and talk to me. That's what I'm here for. If you're at a weight plateau and you want to lower your calories, talk to me, because it might be your calories are actually at the right level for you, but you're actually eating over those amount of calories, or you're not moving enough. So it is being very careful. The idea with weight loss is to eat as many calories as we can and lose weight. So it's very much about the choice of those foods. Okay, little tips here. Okay, it is okay to feel hungry when we're on weight loss. We don't want to feel really hungry, obviously. But if we're trying to lose weight, it is okay to feel a little bit hungry. And it shows that you are, doing something for yourself. So first of all, and this is very much, especially those who've got weight loss stalling, stop snacking. So there's nothing wrong with snacking, but the issue with snacking is that it tends to be mindless eating. And for weight loss, it needs to be all about the mindful eating. We need to know about what we're eating. So instead of a mindless snack, it'd be better to add in another meal, albeit a smaller meal. So it means taking time out to sit and enjoy it rather than just taking it down and ramming it down our throats. So swap the granola bar for sitting down and have a high protein yogurt and berries, or another nutrient dense meal like a small tuna salad or a boiled egg and some spinach. That might not be the best idea. I quite like boiled eggs though. Okay, secondly, to reduce your hunger, protein. Protein will keep you fuller for longer. Build every single meal around a protein source. You want to have protein in every single meal that you have. When you're on your weight loss journey, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, make sure you've got protein in there. You can have protein as a snack, bring it on. That is great. Thirdly, volume. You want to eat a lot of foods for the equivalent calories of small portions of others. So things like your veggies, there are loads of different veggies and they are low in calories. Massive bowl of soup, loads of protein, swap half your rice portion for veg to make your plate look fuller. So you want to make your plate look full so you don't feel like you are being restricted. As soon as you have a small amount on your plate, you're going to feel restricted. So think of if you were going to have a pie, really with your calories, you would probably be having quite a small bit of a pie with the pastry. But if you're going to have an omelette, you can have a big, juicy bit of omelette and a really full bowl of salad by it as well. But you want to make it that you enjoy it and that you look forward to your meals. So we don't want to sit down and have 3 mouthfuls of food on our plate. We want to sit down and have a full plate. Fill your plate with high volume, low calorie foods and enjoy it. So as I mentioned before, some hunger is completely normal on a fat loss diet. Try and change your mindset from, oh my goodness, I'm so hungry, I need to eat, to I am a little bit hungry, but that's normal because I'm trying to eat less and that probably means it's working. So your mindset is absolutely everything. So going on, to have a think that success is a celebration of sacrifice. Avoid sacrifice and you will avoid success. So to achieve anything in life, well, to achieve most things in life, we need to sacrifice something. It might be in business, it might be in your work, it might be in your friendships. We always are having to sacrifice. And for weight loss, this is true. For weight loss, there will need to be some sacrifice, whether it's time, effort, reward. We need to sacrifice. And the sooner you start embracing the process, the further on you will be. So if your goal is fat loss, your sacrifice might be to not eat whatever you want when you want. But we can work with that. Instead of thinking, I can no longer eat these high calorie, foods, high fat, high sugar foods, we need to find the things that you do want and to celebrate that. So your bigger the goal of weight loss is, quite often the bigger the sacrifice is. And that's when you come back to my own fast and furious or slow and steady. It might be you go fast and furious to start with and then slow and steady. A lot of people do a fast and furious diet to start with and then they completely stop. They have lost their weight, they stop, and then they put the weight back on. Whereas if you have a bit of a quicker start, But then you have to go slow and steady to get in those lifestyle changes. So also thinking about this, actually losing a bit of fat and increasing your fitness levels, you're going to generally feel better about yourself. You're going to have more energy. Your brain is going to sleep better. You can manage stress better. You're less likely to have chronic diseases. So actually, those sacrifices are paying off with you feeling better within yourself, because you can make very simple changes and get incredible results. We can still fill our plate full of food. We can still snack. If we're hungry, we can have another meal. But what we do need to do the whole time is be aware of our energy in and energy out. Am I moving enough? Am I bringing in enough calories? Oh, I am bringing in too many calories. Do I know how many calories? Am I tracking? Am I tracking using my fitness pal? Do I know, for example, how many calories I am having? So going back to that calorie deficit target, your energy in, this is the most important part of this weight loss journey. If you are struggling to meet, for example, 1500 calories a day, say that was your calorie deficit target that you want to be. If you are struggling to be at 1500, take it up to 1750. Take it up to where you know that you can match it. Take it to know where you can adhere to it. Because often people will say, well, I want to have 1500 calories. I want to have a quick wins, 1500 calories for the next month. But then quite often they're secretly eating. And then they're actually having over 2000, 2500. So we want to make sure we adhere to a calorie target. This is where the magic happens. So finding that calorie target that works for you. So then if 1800 calories a day works for you, then keep going with that for 3 weeks and have a look. Is there weight loss? Is your body shape changing? Do you feel better? Are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy? So what is happening? Be aware of what's happening to your body. If nothing is happening after 3 weeks, then maybe, yes, take your calories down. But speak to me, talk to people, work out what works for your body. So your mindset is everything, absolutely everything in this. Okay, throughout this process, you're going to have setbacks. We're all going to have setbacks. But how you manage the setbacks is going to play a massive part in how your success happens. So if you have a fat loss goal, you're not going to lose weight every week. It is just not going to happen. Your body composition will be changing, but it might not be showing on the scales. If you're eating within those calories and you are moving and you're exercising more, your body composition will be changing. Your body will be changing behind the scenes, but it may not show it on the scales. Frustrating, yes, I know. You might think that you're going to overcome eating episodes when you overeat, but you might be trying really hard now. And I'm not going to say you're never going to do it again, because it is unlikely that you will never overeat. It is very likely that you will overeat again, but we just want to be more mindful of it and be aware of it. And if it happens, it happens, and that's okay. Because then the next day we start back with our calorie target. We start back and go, do you know what? That's okay. That happened. Because we don't want to be scared of food. We want to embrace food. We want to enjoy food. As humans, we have so many food sources we can use, which is great. As you're on your fitness journey, you are going to have setbacks. It might be you get an injury. That does happen. It might be you start doing couch to 5K, you start running. There will be times you find it really hard. You will. It might be you're trying to increase your strength, and sometimes it feels worse than others. So please just remember that progress is rarely linear. It's never that straight line in that graph. But if you give up every time you don't see progress, then you're going to be starting over again and again. So every time you don't see progress, take a deep breath, start again. To keep that graph, keep going up. You can predict your setbacks. You might know what's going to happen. Make a plan of how to overcome them. Because what you overcome is more important than anything. What you overcome is what you're accomplishing. So this is who you're becoming. Who you become in the pursuit of a goal is more important than reaching the goal itself. So your satisfaction lies in the effort, in the lifestyle changes, in how you're looking after yourself, not the attainment of that goal. So I bet you when you reach your goal weight, you'll think, oh, what's next? It is about what you're overcoming, the hurdles, about thinking about that emotional eating, having to think about knowing what a plate of low calorie food looks like. It's about using your food plan, playing with your food plan, know what it looks like, change it up. It's exciting. It's a wonderful journey to be part of. So, your actions now. Right, what you need to do is set a calorie daily target for yourself. You can do this using TDEE calculators on the internet, or message me and I can help you with that. When you're weighing, weigh in 3 times per week to get an average per week. You can record this on Trainwright to give you a pretty graph, or just write it in a book, a journal. Track your progress. So do this by your weight, do it by your measurements, do it how you feel in your sleep, in your energy, in your stress. Check in with me when you're stalling, check in with me when you're succeeding, just check in with me. Getting that plate of high volume, low density foods, being aware of snacking and knowing that it's okay not to snack, and move more. So really consider those daily steps, which will make a huge benefit. And also trying to get in planned exercise for at least 3 times a week if you can. So your scale weight is measuring your weight, not your body composition. Remember that. And that scale weight is going to be influenced by many things: your menstrual cycle, your training, your food, your water retention, your stress. So try not to have a poor relationship with the scales, because that can mean you'll give up. So if you don't see change on the scales, that is not the only performance marker. And weight loss is not linear. Don't give up. Making sure when the weight fluctuations happen, you're not giving up, you're not over restricting. Just keep going through. We want the scales to be trending down. If the scales are trending down on average, that means there's a good indication of fat loss. If they're trending up on average, it's an indication of fat gain, but it might also be muscle if you are working on your exercise. And if it's fluctuating daily, it doesn't really mean anything. If it's going up and down, you're not really losing weight and gaining weight. It's just your water retention. So you want that trending down on average if you are on weight loss. So that's it, really. There's a lot of things to think about. Please contact me if you want to chat through anything else. But this is your journey. It's an exciting journey. Embrace it. Don't let yourself be put off by those bad days, because they will happen. And the good days will happen too. And yes, success does come from sacrifice. And I imagine there are going to be some things that you need to say, right, okay, I am not going to have so-and-so. It might be you have a weekday sacrifice, but make sure that you don't then overextend yourself at the weekends. So it's down to you. You're the one who can do it. I'm here to support you. Let me know if I can help you in any way. If there's anything you want to discuss more from this, just get in touch. So good luck and go get it. You can do it.